fellow Falcoholics, what is up? Welcome to the Falcoholic Live's Week 16 Postgame Show. I'm your host, Kevin Knight, on Twitter at FalcoholicKevin, and I welcome you to this recap slash discussion slash commiseration slash all that good stuff for the Falcons' most recent disappointment against the Kansas City Chiefs. I guess if we're being real, none of us probably expected the Falcons to beat the Chiefs. I know maybe some folks were hopeful just because it's always nice to win. I know we talk a lot about, hashtag support the tank here, but it's always nice to win games. And the Falcons were really close to upsetting the Super Bowl champions. They were 11-point favorites in this game. The Falcons were absolutely in it all the way through. Honestly, it was a really good performance from the Falcons defense. They played their asses off, to hold the Chiefs to just 17 points. That's pretty impressive. It deserves accolades. They did not collapse in the second half the way that they did against the Bucs. The defense played strong all day, and it just wasn't enough because the offense had two good drives the entire game. That last drive was pretty good too. They just missed the field goal. But the offense had two drives. Basically up until that final drive, they had two good drives. And that's completely unacceptable. The Chiefs aren't terrible on defense, certainly. But, it just comes back to Dirk Cutter and his ineptitude as an offensive coordinator, his cowardice on second down, and all this. They can't pass against the blitz because I guess Dirk Cutter's his instinct against the blitz is to just call max protect and run two routes, and there's a reason people in the NFL don't do that. It's because it doesn't work. You need more than two routes for your quarterback to find someone before the blitz can get home. You can add as many tight ends as you want. If they're Luke Stalker and Jaden Graham and Hayden Hurst, they're not blocking shit. So don't max protect, first of all, and second of all, you need to run more routes. You need to have hot routes. These are all things that we've been saying all season. None of it's materialized. So we're going to be obviously saying goodbye to Dirk Cutter very soon, and there will be celebrations here and elsewhere. But just a really disappointing game from him and the offense. Just really shocking, honestly, that really shocking that they were so 14 points. Matt Ryan threw for over 300 yards and they got 14 points. It's just really sad. So don't really know what else to say with that one. I just don't have any more. You guys know everything about Dirk Cutter. I've said it a million times. I don't really have anything else to say to him or about him. It's always the same with him. The same tired offense, the same cowardice on second down. I just don't. There's nothing more I can do. There's nothing more any of us can do to help him. None of these changes are difficult. None of these changes are hard. But he's incapable of making the necessary changes. Adnan is on the way, George. Adnan's on the way, I promise. He said he was coming, so if he leaves me behind... Yeah, there he is. He's here right now. So... All right. Hold on. All right. What is up, Adnan? How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just watched an absolute beautiful disaster.
Yes,
of a football game.
They really are getting very creative with these losses. It's almost impressive. I feel like we've had basically every single option in terms of blown leads. We've had onside kick kerfuffles. We've had a missed field goal, a missed game-tying field goal. Now we've had Todd Gurley scoring too soon. I'm trying to think of another scenario.
Safety.
Yeah. A
Or
pick two.
a nice block punt.
Yeah, pick two. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we only need one more, and then we have bingo. We have the entire
Yes.
row, going up and down.
The whole card, it's just full. Yeah, it's wild out there. I was just going on and on about Dirk Cutter, but I'm gonna let you get to that real quick right after I thank Noah Cook for his $3 Tip, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate your support. Noah says, when not even Mother Nature wants your team to win, so she sends a gust of wind out as soon as we go for the game-tying field goal. Yeah, it could be that. It could also be that Young Wei Koo is a true legend and respects the tank. Adnan, hello. I don't hear you, brother. Could be my bad. Okay, now I hear you. Yep.
Yeah, my mic went out for a second.
Oh, okay.
My mic went out. What was the question?
Yeah. So he was just saying that Mother Nature sent a gust of wind to stop the game-tying field goal. So
And no, I tweeted it out in a game where literally everything was unexpected.
Yeah.
It's just beautifully poetic for Young Wei Koo to miss the field goal. He's only missed one field goal all season, and that came in a game where he had a groin injury. Against the Bears, where he had the groin injury, he missed the field goal, he missed an extra point, and then he was out for that Packers game in Week 4. So Young Wei Koo has been legitimately automatic, and he went out there at 39 yards. That's been kicking practice for him, and he missed it. Going back, it's just the AJ Terrell dropped interception as well, and AJ Terrell made a great play on that, but he just couldn't come down with it. And I don't know what the hell Raheem Morris was doing challenging.
That was the equivalent of a Hail Mary. It's oh yeah, I'm just gonna throw this flag and maybe they'll find something on the replay. Maybe.
No, that was the nice. It's 2 minutes 1 second left. Let me use this before just because of
Why not?
Yeah, just why the hell not? It's come on, man. I mean. Let's be honest. We're 4-11 now. It's the time for why not. That game. It was the defense stepped up. The defense flexed its muscles in that one. Shout out to them because they were not going up against just a regular offense. This Chiefs offense is historically amazing. The weapons of this Chiefs offense, and I know Clyde Edwards-Helaire was out. He got injured late in that Saints game, but this Chiefs team is legitimately, maybe the best team I've seen in the last decade in the NFL, because this is the same team that won a Super Bowl last year and then got better over the course of the offseason. And for the defense to just go toe-to-toe with them, it was very, very impressive. It reminded me of the 49ers game last year against that number 1 ranked 49ers team, where the defense just held Kyle Shanahan's team to below 20 points, and we won on the last second Julio touchdown. And had Julio played in this game, I'm sure they would have won this one as well. I do have to tip my cap to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I know, just hear me out here, but I think that the Chiefs proved to me even more that they're legitimate Super Bowl contenders in this game. And I know what you're thinking. It's they barely beat this terrible Falcons team, but this was the customary letdown game. They just had a very emotional win in New Orleans, where they pulled that one out late. They lost Edwards-Helaire very late in that game. So they come into this week against a 4-10 Falcons team, and just like any team, you have a bit of a letdown week, just like the Rams had last week against the Jets. And they still, to be able to win a game like this through the strength of their defense, and their defense was absolutely fantastic in this game. It really showed that this isn't just a one-dimensional team and we knew that the Kansas City Chiefs defense was solid, but now it's just put on display. This isn't a team that they have to win. Pat Mahomes has to throw 3-4 touchdowns for them to win. Their defense played very well in this game, albeit against Dirk Cutter. But man, this Chiefs team with this victory, it was very, very impressive to me, and they're no doubt my Super Bowl pick. No doubt my pick to go all the way this season. And maybe the only thing that happened this week was Pat Mahomes' MVP campaign may have gotten hurt a little bit, depending on what Aaron Rodgers does tonight.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, they're very resilient and they just find ways to win these games. Like their weakness right now is their offensive line because they are down a lot of starters. They lost another one towards the end of the game. They lost the center. Like this team is down. You know, they had Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, their star guard. Like he opted out of the season to help with COVID because he's a doctor. You know, they've had injury like Mitchell Schwartz. I don't know if he's back yet, but I don't think he was playing this game. I think it was Remmers at right tackle. And like they've had a ton of injuries in the offensive line, and the Falcons were getting pressure. And they were preventing the Chiefs from getting into a rhythm and really allowing Mahomes to do a lot. But he was able to do just enough. And it was unfortunate the Falcons were on the wrong side of that. But honestly, it's like if they just make that field goal, maybe they win it in overtime. I mean, if they just have another drive, more than 2 or 3 good drives in the whole game, you know, they could have won this game. But instead, we're back here talking about Dirk Cutter once again as a failure. I mean,
okay, only one more week and then he's
we're gonna have a special episode just for Dirk Cutter's firing. Don't you worry.
For his promotion.
Yeah, for his ascendance to godhood. Okay, he becomes true galaxy brain, and he just his head just floats off his body.
No, that's the Rich McKay galaxy brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of firing Dirk Cutter.
Yes. Wait, what if we promote? We don't. But continuity is really important on that. So we need to make sure.
That's basically what Arthur Blank did with Rich McKay. Oh, he's a terrible GM. Let me promote him.
What if we promoted him to management?
Oh man, we're really not going to get any credentials next year.
Yeah. It's we're just gonna hope that no one pays attention to the show except for you guys. So thank you guys obviously for paying attention, but it's probably best if the team doesn't. So. But yeah, I want to get to some donations real quick before we continue our conversation and all that stuff. Guys, if you're interested in donating, tipping the show, we really appreciate that. The link is in the show description. You can also type !tip or !donate into the chat, and that will give you the link as well, assuming that bot is working correctly, which I think it is. And if you guys don't mind, like the episode if you're enjoying the show, and if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button too. That both of those really help us out, so we appreciate that, guys. Thank you. All right, show benefactor George Costanza with the $5, brother. Thank you so much. He says Adnan is right. We have to move on from Matt Ryan. If he was so great, he'd have made that interception in the end zone.
I said this.
Wait, don't put words. No, he's joking. He's joking. But seriously, though, he says the defense is good enough to win the Super Bowl if the offense can play. Right. This game proved it. Draft Chase, like Chase Young. Oh, Jamar Chase. Oh, I see.
That only works when Eric's in the show.
Yeah, that only triggers Eric. Yeah, we're both like, if the Falcons trade down a couple times, we can have a Jamar Chase conversation. But also, Luke Stalker had more tackles than Fowler. #tank shots. I got you right here, George. I already poured it.
Fowler looked like he wanted no part of being on the field today.
Yeah. Fowler looks like a guy who knows he's about to get cut.
Man, I don't know if I think the next coaching staff's going to come in and they'll be like, all right, well, maybe we can do something. This is a former Pro Bowler.
Maybe.
The Panthers are holding their own somewhat against the Washington football team, the team formerly known as the Redskins. 0-0 in the first quarter, and let's talk some draft. This is a very pro draft show. So
draft season since week 2, according to Eric. So.
massive win by the Cincinnati Bengals against Houston today.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals moved to 4-10-1. The Falcons jumped them in the draft. Like, who would have thought?
Right.
We thought 2 weeks ago. It's going to be one of either the Jets or the Jaguars, probably the Jets number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Jags, and then the Bengals, getting Penei Sewell at number 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, we're playing for maybe the 4th pick, but everything has gone right for the Falcons.
Yeah.
First of all, look away, Jets fans. They now no longer have a chance at the number 1 pick.
Yep.
They are locked into the 2nd pick after tanking for Trevor all year, so this is a tanker's dream for Jaguars fans, because now they have the number 1 pick and they can root for a win guilt-free next week.
Yep. Yeah. Wild, man.
The Bengals beat the Steelers and now the Texans in consecutive weeks. They fall to 6. The Falcons are currently at 3.
Yep.
If the Panthers win, the Panthers will be at if the Panthers lose, which is a long-term win, they'll be at 3. The Falcons will be at 4. The Texans will be at 5. Falcons won't be completely locked into that 4 seed just because this SOS strength of schedule is so close with the Texans and with the Panthers that they could go like either way next week, even if they lose.
Right.
They can go from 3 to 5. If they win, they can drop to as low as 11.
Technically, but some of these teams, some of these teams are going to probably either win or otherwise. Like one of Dallas, the Chargers, or Denver is probably going to win, at least one of those teams. And Philly still has to play too, right? So
Philly's playing the Cowboys right now.
Yeah. So exactly,
that one is for the division.
Yeah. So like, Philly and Dallas, like one of those teams is getting another win. So like technically they could fall, as low as 11th, but in reality, it's probably more like 10th. Like they're probably locked into a top 10 pick, depending on the math of this week and how everyone finishes. But like,
Basically, what we know about the Falcons is a loss guarantees a top 5 pick.
Yes.
We don't know in what exact order, just because strength of schedule. And we're not going to get into strength of schedule because it's so convoluted. And looking at the teams that you've played versus the teams that Carolina's played versus the teams Houston's played next week, where it's like, you can't even begin to start like shifting through that. But a loss guarantees a top 5 pick. And, more than like if Carolina wins today, a loss guarantees either the 3rd or the 4th pick next week, and most likely the 3rd pick. But man, how about the Texans? Like they don't even own their pick, which is 5th right now.
And it's the 4th overall pick, man. Talk about B.O.B. screwing over that team from the grave.
Oh my God, for Laramie Tunsil, and they had no leverage in that Laramie Tunsil like negotiation because you can't trade 2 first-round picks for him and then just let him walk.
Right.
So they gave him a terrible contract, by far the highest paid tackle. Without a doubt, it's like $3 or $4 million more than like the other record-breaking deal.
Oh yeah, it's wild, man. Totally wild. Wow. Like, okay, I do want to read another donation here from Eli Amberson, the $1 brother. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. So due to the little slander show Adnan has been putting on every week, Matt Ryan has been receiving death threats. Okay.
Well, the Matt Ryan haters at.
We're the Matt Ryan. I love that, like, I think at least half the people who saw my tweet, like, legitimately didn't get it. Like, they thought I was actually, like, trying to support Dirk Cutter. And it's like, have you never seen me tweet? I'm insulted. Like, have you never seen me tweet about Dirk Cutter before? But honestly, that just makes it even funnier. So that was great. So yeah. The death threats, that tweet will go on in infamy forever. So shout out to the Falcons reporter for that one. But
Matt Ryan only scoring 14 points in this one. That was, I have no idea. You know what Michael Vick would have done under all that pressure? He would have gotten away from it.
Yeah.
And he would have scored.
He either would have scored or thrown a pick, but he would have done something.
Fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Or fumbled the ball.
Right. I mean, Matt Ryan just got the team very clearly in easy field goal range, and Koo just shanked it. I mean, it's definitely Matt Ryan's fault.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't Matt Ryan make that kick?
Right. If he's so good, if he's worth $34 million or whatever he's making, he should get in there and kick that field goal. Gotta get some, get some value out of that contract. But no, I mean,
$150 million and he can't work on his kicks in the offseason?
SMH,
wow, what's he even doing?
SMH, man. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Matt Ryan had a great game. 27 of 35, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's better than Patrick Mahomes, for those of you keeping score. Matt Ryan was sharp. Obviously, not perfect. I mean, I think at least one of those sacks, he probably should have been able to kind of get out of the pocket and throw it away. But, not everyone's like, oh, well, he should just throw it away. It's more complicated than just chuck the ball away, guys. You have to have some care about where you chuck the ball, first of all, and also you can't do it in the pocket or you just lose the down anyway.
Grounding.
Yeah.
Intentional grounding is a thing.
And you can do a still screen cap to be like, oh, well, look, he had room, but okay, well, Frank Clark was right there. Yeah, it looks like that Ryan has 5 yards of distance from Frank Clark, but that man can close pretty fast. Like he's a high end pass rusher. So just wait till we look at the all 22 before you really start trying to criticize people too much. But like Matt Ryan, I think was responsible for one of those sacks. But at the end of the day, like if you still think Matt Ryan is the problem with this offense, I don't know what to tell you. Like you can't be convinced by anything. You just don't like Matt Ryan, and that's fine. You don't have to like Matt Ryan. I mean, the guy's a little stiff, in press conferences. He just says all the right things. He's kind of boring, So if you don't like that, that's fine. But
no, you know what I want from Matt Ryan? I want him to be doing sit-ups in the driveway of his.
Where's his playbook? I should see him with his playbook every time he's on. Every time he's at a press conference, he should have his playbook open and he should be studying.
Yeah, I need him to pull the TO. Oh, the Panthers, by the way, just took a 7-0 lead. Zeiss, I didn't see the play, but they're all dancing in the end zone right now.
All right, man. Yeah.
It was a muffed punt by by Stims, and they recovered the muffed punt in the end zone for a touchdown.
There you go. Hey, things looking up. So we're gonna hold on to that number 3 pick, maybe. So.
And it's gonna be so heartbreaking when the Bucs rest all their starters next week when we win by like 20.
Right. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna do that though. This is a team that doesn't necessarily rest starters. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it would make sense to rest Tom Brady next week.
It would. And then watch the Falcons lose anyway, just because.
God. Yeah, at this point, I'm just gonna say right now, a win is a loss next week.
It is.
Like,
yeah.
A win is absolutely a loss. You gain nothing from winning next week. I don't care. Like, attack me for it. Talk about building a team culture that's predicated on choking the past 3 years. Like I don't care. Like what we need to lose next week.
Yeah. We probably should lose next week. I mean, either way, they're gonna have a fine draft pick, but like that top 3 pick, man, it's like
when you have the 3rd overall pick. Do you know how much leverage you have with the 3rd pick, especially when you have the chance to, maybe Justin Fields is there, and then maybe you can just get, a team's entire draft class for that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what will happen there, but that pick has a lot of power, certainly. And the Falcons having it would be great. Even if they trade out of that pick or do whatever, like they have a really high pick in every round. Like it carries over every single round. So.
And having that high of a pick in the 2nd round, that's pretty much like a first rounder, like a late first rounder, because there's always players who there's a reach from the 2nd round, a team falls in love with someone, so there are going to be players with first round grades falling to that pick in the 2nd round.
Yeah, that happens every year, so it's always just nice to be higher in the draft, no matter what. But we'll see how they handle next week. I don't know what the Bucs will do. I doubt they're resting everyone. I mean, maybe they'll rest Tom Brady, but I guess have they officially clinched their spot? Like it's.
I don't think I think it depends on the Rams game this week.
Yeah.
They've officially clinched a playoff spot.
Right.
They're not winning the NFC South. It's all about positioning, and I do think if they do rest Brady, I don't think they're going to be resting their wide receivers, just because yesterday, even when they benched Brady in the 2nd half, they still kept throwing it to Gronk and Godwin and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
So they may rest Brady and possibly Ronald Jones because he's kind of banged up. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but we really need to lose next week.
Sacrilegious of us to say this, but look, there's one game left of the season. Can you give us just let us have this, Falcons, please. Let us have this, okay? Imagine the mock drafts, all right? Like these are gonna be some spicy mock drafts with these crazy trades, man.
These mock drafts, it's gonna be the best draft season we've had.
Oh God, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit with these mock drafts, man. It's gonna be so lit. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, if it's they're probably I think. It's almost safe to say that they're locked into a top 10 pick. Crazy things can happen, but I'm not sure that we're not sure what the Bucs are gonna do. Some of it probably depends, like Adnan said, on what the Rams do today, and if Tampa Bay can get locked into their seeding, because the seeding below the first seed is a little bit more interesting now because there's a lot of jockeying that happens, right? So do you get a home game or not in this wild card round and so on. So Obviously, like Adnan said, that the Bucks are not going to be winning the division, but they may be really hoping to get a different opponent. If they get a higher seed, you get a lower seed to play. So, depending on who's there, like obviously,
what would be massive. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but just talking about the opponents, if you're the Bucks, you really want to go into that 5 seed.
Yeah.
Because if you go into that 5 seed, you play the winner of the NFC East, who's going to be like a 6-win team. So that would be it wouldn't be a bye week, but it would be the closest possible thing to a bye week.
Yeah, it would. So I mean, that could be one scenario where the Bucks really do want to try to get that top end. They want to win that last game to make sure they're in position at 5 seed, so they can go romp, Washington or the Giants or whoever. Yeah. So
whereas if they go down to the 6 seed, they'll have to go to Seattle or Los Angeles to play the Rams.
So that matters certainly. It matters a lot.
However, if they outright clinch the 5 seed, I think they may clinch the 5 seed if the Rams lose today. So the Rams will be 9-6. The Bucks will have 10 wins. So I think.
Well, the Rams could theoretically still be. I don't know. They might have the head-to-head tiebreaker of the Rams.
The thing is, the Rams. They didn't play. The Rams have a better conference record, I think.
Yeah.
So I think they cannot clinch it either way. So we may be good.
We'll see.
Because
that is something to monitor.
Is really important.
Yeah, it's definitely something to monitor for Atlanta in terms of the Bucks. But I'm definitely interested in that. All right, so we got another donation from George Costanza for $5, brother. Show benefactor George Costanza. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your Patreon support as well, man. We really appreciate that. And this is a good, opportunity for me to plug the Patreon. We're gonna be starting our patron exclusive Q&As. So every month we're gonna be doing a special show with just our patrons as guests. And we're gonna be just answering a bunch of questions for like half an hour. So if you guys want to get in on that, it's gonna be probably early mid-January. So this is your opportunity to get in on that. We have a lot of tiers, some super affordable, all the way up to whatever you guys want to support us with, and we really appreciate that. So you can check out the Patreon. Link to that in the show description. It's patreon.com/Falcoholic Live. And another reminder to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate that. So thank you guys very much for that. But speaking of George Costanza's donation, he says, more #tank shots. Okay, brother, I'm since I'm done reading this. He also wants to know what non-alcoholic beverage you are drinking today, Adnan.
I actually don't have anything right now. I'll probably have some water later on today.
Yes,
so
gotta stay hydrated.
Very boring. Yeah. Very boring this week. It's nothing exciting like a hot cocoa or like an exotic drink.
Yeah, that orange drink. That sounded fire, man.
Yeah, but I will not disappoint next time.
Gotta have some exciting thing to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like at this point when you're winning 4 games, then it's the most exciting thing you can talk about, other than #draft picks.
Exactly. But yeah, speaking of draft stuff, he says if we have the number 3 pick, it'll be easy to trade back. Penei Sewell would command that kind of attention. Lawrence,
absolutely,
obviously the best choice in the draft, but Sewell is probably definitely the second best player in the draft. Yeah, I mean, certainly. Yeah.
As purely a prospect, you could argue that Sewell may even be the best player. Not looking at positional value, just because obviously quarterbacks get a massive boost from that. But Sewell is he's a special tackle.
Yeah. I do wonder if that's a scenario that people maybe aren't considering. Like with Cincinnati's win, Cincinnati was probably banking on just being the team to take Penei Sewell based on their draft position. But at this point, they have to get past Miami, who's picking for Houston at 4, and Carolina at 5 if this order were to hold. So I wouldn't rule out some sort of small trade up by them. The Falcons probably think they can still get their choice of Zach Wilson or Trey Lance at 6, which is where Cincinnati's picking right now. Maybe they just pick up since he's second or third or something like that to make that little swap.
I would demand, if you're going from 3 to 6 like that, I would demand at least their second. And maybe even a 5th or something like that.
Yeah.
If they really want, because Miami could feasibly Miami could take Sewell.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Carolina absolutely probably would take Sewell if he was there. I don't think they were expecting him to be there, but Carolina's offensive line is not good, so I think they'd be pretty happy to get Sewell.
Yeah, and you'd also you kind of want to keep him out of the division.
Yeah, that would be nice. So that's maybe something that folks haven't talked about, but yeah, I mean, no, we're not going to take Sewell and put him at guard, Kieran Welsh. We're not going to do that. Yeah, we're not taking franchise left tackle in the top 5 and then making him play guard. Just not going to happen.
It works in Madden though.
It does. If you can do that. But I don't remember the last time I picked 3 in Madden. I don't think I've ever been that bad.
No. That's where you have to trade.
Yeah. You do just all these weird machinations to get that. But yeah, I mean, if the Falcons are picking 3 right now, do you think that it's going to be Lawrence and Fields ahead of them, and then they'll have their pick of Wilson or Lance or what?
It's going to be Lawrence. It could be Wilson at 2, just because I think the Jets could easily fall in love with Wilson. He had that amazing bowl game to cap off his college career. Last time we saw Fields, he looked disastrous against Northwestern for a while. But we'll see what Fields can do against that Clemson defense in the college football playoff, which is in a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's I can easily see Zach Wilson being 2, and at this point, actually, just from seeing everything, I would have Wilson ahead of Lance, for me personally.
Yeah,
I know what we've been saying all year. Oh yeah, they're neck and neck. They're pretty much tied, and I have Wilson slightly ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to ignore Wilson's crazy good season. Fair or not to Trey Lance, with them not playing this year, it just if Wilson had a bad season, he would be benefiting. But since Wilson's had a just tremendous season, it's just really hard for him to compete with that. And Lance was always going to be a little bit more of a project, a little bit more of an upside guy. But yeah, I mean, Wilson, he's physically, he doesn't offer that same upside, but you just can't really argue with the production and the way he's just dicing teams up. I mean, he diced up my alma mater, so I have to give him mad respect. I mean, it's not like UCF's defense been great this year or anything, but
I mean, those are former national champions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's dicing them up, so that's impressive. But yeah, it's rough. But yeah, I mean, I think I would have to agree with you. At this point, Wilson has probably taken over that 3rd spot, and for some teams, they might even consider him the 2nd best quarterback. A lot of that probably depends on the play of Fields, in the college football playoff. But
I will say this: I think if we get Louis Riddick and Fields is there at 3, that's easily going to be the pick, because Riddick has gone on record saying he thinks Fields is better than Lawrence and the best quarterback in this draft. Which, I mean, that's.
Don't agree, but
absolutely don't agree.
At least he has a take. Okay, he's got a take, and he's not afraid to express it.
So it's I mean, absolutely disagree on that one. But we'll see. It's his opinion, and if he's the man in charge, then I think that'll be because you don't pass up on a player that's better than Lawrence.
No,
at number 3.
Yeah. I mean. And I know, some people are saying, we don't need a quarterback. Matt Ryan's good. It's not about whether Matt Ryan's good or not. And that's why I think this whole, Matt Ryan slander, Matt Ryan, hate discussion is just kind of silly. Because whether Matt Ryan is good or not isn't really important. Sure, if Matt Ryan was having MVP caliber seasons, you're probably not having this discussion. But, only one quarterback a year is having that sort of season.
So who says Matt Ryan's good this season?
Right. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to put words in your mouth there. But no, it's just it's not necessary to try to make it about whether or not Ryan's good. It's about picking in the top 5 with potential franchise quarterbacks sitting there, and Matt Ryan approaching the end of his career. This is, I mean, the Packers just took Jordan Love. With their first round pick, with Aaron Rodgers having an MVP season, it's not about this is not about whether the quarterback on the roster is good or not. It's
about bridging the gap between Matt Ryan and the next quarterback, and it's about not being caught pretty much with your pants down without a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult to find franchise quarterbacks in the NFL. They don't grow on trees. Sure, you can think, oh, let's just find someone later on in the draft, but that's an absolute anomaly. Russell Wilson in the 3rd round is a pure anomaly. Even Derek Carr in the second round. That doesn't happen every year. Like, if you want a real true franchise quarterback, you're probably going to need to take him in the first round. And unless you want to get stuck with like game managers, and in the NFL, the
get
last
stuck
game
with Derek
manager,
Carr.
the last game manager I think to win a Super Bowl was Peyton Manning.
Nick Foles.
I mean, in fairness, Nick Foles like lit it up in that playoff run.
Yep.
He just like, it was just like otherworldly. But it's like Peyton Manning comes to mind in his last year in Denver when he led the league in picks despite not even playing in 5 or 6 games. But that's still Peyton Manning had the veteran savvy in that playoff run, and he won them that game against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. So that wasn't just like a regular game manager. But yeah, it's I'm completely down for Matt Ryan being this team's quarterback for the next couple of years and just handing it over to whoever we potentially take this year, just like the Packers did. Because you look at that right there is establishing a long-term culture. Because you look at the Packers with Brett Favre, they had the success. They won the ring with Favre. And they were a very, very successful successful franchise. Then they handed it off to Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't miss a beat. They actually even got better with Aaron Rodgers, as a quarterback, overcoming Mike McCarthy and all of those apparently that front office regime hating him because they never gave him any wide receivers or anything like that.
Right.
So this is completely about bridging it over. It's not about, oh, Matt Ryan sucks, we should get rid of him right now. You're not getting rid of Matt Ryan right now, even if you wanted to, because you're not going to pay him all the dead money to not be on your team, because Matt Ryan's still very productive and a very good quarterback in the NFL. But you'll see firsthand just how important it is with the Saints moving forward, because they're about to probably start Taysom Hill next season. And
they're just gonna blow it all up. Yeah.
I do not care what people say. Taysom Hill is not a good quarterback, even though he had some success against the Falcons.
Yeah, he beat the Falcons twice. What else has he done? Nothing.
Yeah, he beat the Falcons twice. He looked terrible against the Broncos. He looked pretty bad against the Eagles until very late. So we'll see firsthand in the division how important it is to have that bridge to the next quarterback of the future.
Yeah. I know some folks are asking about pass rushers maybe. There's no one worth that number 3 pick. It's really a down year for edge rushers. And part of it's because a lot of guys just didn't play. I think if Gregory Rousseau had played and was great this year, he'd probably be that guy. But we've seen one season of him. It was really good, and that's it. He didn't play this year. So it's really hard to justify spending that sort of draft capital on a guy that's basically a total gamble. And I'm down for Gregory Rousseau in the latter half of the top 10. So if the Falcons do wind up winning next week and they're picking at 6 or 7 or 8, then I think it's worth having the conversation about Rousseau there, particularly if the quarterback they want is gone. But at 3, it's quarterback or trade down. That's basically it.
Yeah, it's if you trade down, you can go for a pass rusher, or if you win next week. Yeah. And you'll be picking that vicinity of maybe even getting the best pass rusher in the draft.
Yeah.
So it's either way, the Falcons have built enough equity by being absolute garbage this season to get a very good player, an immediate contributor, if we don't go quarterback. So it should be, I'll be revving up the hype train all off season about the Falcons playoff run next year, no matter what. But it's going to be a very, very good. It's going to be a very good scenario. It's going to be a very fun draft night, no matter what happens. Also, the Panthers just scored another touchdown, and this time they missed the extra point again. No, they just squeaked it in.
Okay, we got it. Yeah.
So it's 13-0 for the Carolina Panthers. Yes.
All right. Well, hey, the tank is strong. The Panthers are cooperating. So I'm excited about that, obviously. But, it's going to be wild. It's going to be a fun draft. I know a lot of folks are asking about it. If anyone has any specific questions, hit us up. But, it has to be, I think, a quarterback at 3. I just don't think there's any other players or positions that are worth it. I don't think I would really be considering, Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley at 3. That's just really high for a corner. And I like both of those players, but man, that early, I just don't really like it. Like, I think you basically have to take quarterback or trade down. Like, I just don't really see another option there.
I mean, you can get cute with it. Micah Parsons at 3 would be very justifiable. He's maybe the best defensive player in the draft.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just like, all right, you know what? We're gonna take the best prospect. Sewell is there, and we're just gonna figure it all out from there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe at some point you can move on from Jake Matthews' contract, but it's just like it's not. It doesn't
ideal.
really work that well. Yeah, it's just not great to do that. So, yeah, I mean, like they do need an offensive lineman, but
yeah, a trade down is definitely my preferred method, and it's a good thing that Thomas Dimitroff isn't here anymore, because I think even in this scenario he wouldn't trade down. He'd be looking to trade up for Trevor Lawrence or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I legitimately think Thomas Dimitroff, it's whenever he's drafting, he temporarily blocks the numbers of every single GM that's picking after him in that first round.
There's no option to trade down. Trading down was never an option.
Yeah, trading down is for the weak.
Yes, that's for the cowards.
We have to prove that we're strong.
The cowards trade down, okay? The bold folks trade up, and that's what we are in Atlanta. We're a bold
favors
team.
The bold.
Yes, that's true. So there you go. That's how it works. I'm sure. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's weird. But take a short break here, guys, to remind you to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We do appreciate that. And we're $1 away from another tank shot. We had a 3 and a 1, so we're at $4. So if you guys want another tank shot, somebody throw in $1, and I'll finish you off there. But I just I'm trying to think of if there's any other options for this team. I mean, like we mentioned the Sewell trade down. Like if the Bengals want him from 3 to 6. Quarterback is like the obvious one, right? But I don't know who would really be willing to trade up all the way to 3, because after Atlanta, I mean, I guess you could say maybe Carolina would be interested in a quarterback. So maybe people would want to jump them.
Jalen Hurts has showed up, so not Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't think they would be anyway, just because they're in a bad way.
Maybe the Giants.
Maybe
because it's like Daniel Jones, like he's still young. They spent a high pick on him.
Yeah.
But it's they're like Daniel Jones isn't good.
He's not good. Yeah. Detroit has been talked about. If a new coaching staff, new GM, they want to start doing kind of a similar thing to Atlanta, but I don't think they would want to trade up for that.
Did Gettleman? He hasn't been fired yet, right? From the Giants?
No.
If he does get fired, I can see the Giants going up, because of course with Gettleman, Daniel Jones is someone he took. If a new GM comes in, and Joe Judge wasn't the coach when Daniel Jones was selected, I could absolutely see a trade up happening, or an attempted trade up. The Broncos at 12.
Yeah, Broncos for sure. Mm-hmm.
The 49ers. At 14, now you're getting...
That's like whole draft class sort of territory there.
Yeah, it's like the Bears and the 49ers, and not only whole draft class, but like next year's.
Yeah, we're talking about next year's firsts with those ones. Like I'm down, certainly. Like I'm down if somebody wants to pull off some sort of crazy trade. I'd rather not do it with San Francisco, because I need them to be our trade partner next year for Matt Ryan. But
with the Bears, and I've been saying the Bears a lot, and the reason why is because I didn't think they'd make the playoffs, and they'd be picking this late. But
Mitchell Trubisky,
they have Maserati Mitch dropping 30, dropping dimes all over defenses' heads.
Man.
But with Mitch, with the Bears, I'm trying to think of what it would take to go from like 20 to... They're at 20 right now, so it would be a first, second, and fourth this year, a first and second next year, and maybe even like a third somewhere down the line.
I just don't see them doing that. Yeah,
it would be like, it would have to be something ridiculous, and if I don't think Ryan Pace is going to get fired if they make the playoffs. So I think we can take the Bears off the list because I was
Yeah.
just assuming they'd miss the playoffs, they'd have a new regime, and then you can look at, go because if you're Ryan Pace, you can't justify to the owner, oh, like I know we took Mitch like number 2 overall a few
We
years
traded
ago. We
up too.
traded up from 3 to 2 to
Got
take Mitch.
played. Yeah.
Yeah, they like bet against themselves. They were negotiating against only themselves. But let's trade up all the way for like another quarterback. And Robert Kelly's right. The Patriots are
Yeah.
another team.
Yeah,
I
that's
miss
at
the
15.
Patriots.
Yeah, it's 15.
Yeah, like the Patriots 15. And I wouldn't put it past Jerry Jones to do something like, oh, let's trade up and let's let Dak go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, wow. Yeah, I mean the Patriots for sure would be an option. If Dimitrov is still here too, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's like an obvious one because they might be really considering.
He may go to the Lions.
Right. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Hey.
Yeah, but I think like New England is basically the floor for it. Like I don't think the Falcons are interested in really trading down that far unless the offer is like ridiculous. I think the Falcons would probably rather stay in that like 5 to 10 radius if they could. But I mean, if the offer is ridiculous enough, I think they'll consider anything. So.
Oh yeah, like you need to be taking every single like call possible, and I would love to come out of this any trade down with it at the very least. I'd love to be picking twice in the second round.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And you could even like don't put it past the Falcons to trade up a few spots from the second round if we are picking third.
Yeah.
And if we're picking like third in the second round, I wouldn't put it past them to trade up a few spots with Kansas City or Green Bay.
Yeah.
Give an extra like 5th rounder or something like that just for the sake of that 5th-year option, because that's very valuable.
Yeah.
With that, and if they're like targeting someone in the first round, they'll have a lot of picks. Especially if they trade back, they'll have even more picks. They'll have like more picks than what they'll know like what to do with. So
they might need them to fill out that roster if the cap's low.
This is true.
They might literally need like 15. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in Madden when you like when you go so far above the cap and then you play with like 41 players on your roster the next year.
Why not? Yeah.
Or when you just like start a new franchise at that point.
Yep. just start over. Yeah. But no, I mean that is interesting. Like I could see that. Like, say they get Arthur Smith, and I do see your donation, Gary Stafford. I'm going to read it in just a second. I just didn't want to interrupt the flow here. But yeah, say they get Arthur Smith. Like, if they are eyeing Najee Harris and they really want Harris for Arthur Smith's scheme, that small trade up back into the bottom of the first round could be really key to get a 5th year of control on Najee Harris because, generally you don't give running backs second contracts, but that 5th year option on the running back could be really valuable to get that guy for a 5th season. So I think that's totally in play. That's a good idea there. And they have the 3/5. So I think a move from the 4th back into day 2 is probably on the table for sure. We'll see what they end up doing with all those kind of day 3 picks. They probably want to keep some of them to fill out the depth. You can get blocking tight ends with those 5th rounders. You can get some projects, some special teams guys. But yeah, Luke Stalker, right? Yeah, Luke Stalker has blocked like shit this year. Okay, so you signed the man to block and he can't block. Like, come on, it's literally
he has to be your featured receiver though.
Right. Like it's literally not hard to find blocking tight ends, and the Falcons failed utterly at it this year. Like none of their tight ends can block. Like Hayden Hurst, Jaden Graham, I don't expect you to block, but like Luke Stalker, that's literally the only reason you're here and you can't do it. So like, come on, brother. But let me read off Gary's donation here. Gary Stafford with the $10. Brother, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you, man. So Gary asks, do we think the Falcons have their GM selection already decided, or is it still up in the air? It's difficult to answer. I do think they want Rick Smith. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just hire Rick Smith after the season ends.
Yeah, same.
I think they want him. I think if the fit makes a lot of sense, he has a lot of experience, the team likes him. Basically, everyone likes him. Like, I've never heard any NFL people say a bad thing about him. So, he has experience drafting a franchise quarterback. He got Deshaun Watson for the Texans. This is a guy that I think makes a ton of sense for the Falcons. Could be a good GM to pair with a first-time head coach because of his experience. So he would make sense for a team looking to hire Eric Bieniemy or Arthur Smith.
But Dirk Cutter will be a second-time head coach.
That's true. The continuity is very important there.
Continuity, yes.
Yeah.
He almost led an offense that nearly beat the Chiefs this week.
That's true. Very close. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that whole GM situation?
I think I think you're right. There was I forget the name, but a very, very plugged in person down in Houston said
Anthony Wilson. Aaron Wilson. Aaron Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Wilson, who's very reliable, said that he would bet on the Falcons and Rick Smith coming to a deal after the season. So I think they're definitely doing their due diligence, interviewing everyone. But it could be a scenario where Arthur Blank knows that he's going to go with Smith, and he's just going to do his due diligence right now because there's no real rush if Smith wants to be here as well.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they just kind of immediately hire him after the season ends. That would, I think, makes a lot of sense, like we said, for both sides. So that doesn't shock me at all. Brandon Cowell. Honestly, I'd rather have Blake Bortles than Justin Fields. Well, don't get me started on some Blake Bortles hype, okay? I'm UCF. UCF legend, Blake Bortles, okay?
Speaking of third overall picks, that's a former third overall pick right there.
Hey, man, he had that one good season, Jaguars. Okay? Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the Jaguars. They always, and another former third overall pick, Dante Fowler Jr. The Jags, I'm convinced that they try to drum up more fan support by getting Florida products, and it just doesn't matter. It doesn't work because the real way to drum up fan support is to win.
Exactly.
Like that season when they were like Saxonville, they had 12 wins. I saw people talking about the Jags. They had, the fan base was coming out and supporting.
They were excited,
That's the way, unless you're the Bills Mafia and you're going to stand behind the Bills no matter what. It's the best fan base in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's teams, if you are terrible, if you struggle, your fan support will wane. Not everyone is Bills fans with 20 feet of snow in their lap, just going to watch a 4-win Bills team at Orchard Park a few years ago. That's it's insane. We saw Saints fans had the paper bags over their heads. Before Peyton and Drew Brees came along, they never even sold out season tickets until 2006. They have a banner that said first sellout season 2006.
I remember that. Oh my god. Yeah, that's wild, man. So yeah, I mean, getting back to the game today a little bit,
just to stop you for a second, touchdown Panthers.
Oh, hey.
Again. Hey,
let's go.
Not to call out Eric, but a few days ago he was saying, do you guys really think the Panthers are going to beat this rugged Washington defense?
Well, once I heard Dwayne Haskins was starting, then yes. The answer is yes.
I mean, they're not. Yeah, shout out to Eric. We love Eric. Yeah, but I'm just. I'm just saying if it's on the record, then it's fair game.
Call him out. Get him, Adnan.
So it's looking like it's about to be 20-0 pending the extra point.
Yep. Yeah, man, that's wild. But hey, go Panthers. We're very much in support of the Panthers getting that win today. Which would officially give the Falcons the third pick here, and help their odds a little bit at getting a higher pick overall. Yeah, man, that's wild. A lot depends on the Bucs, obviously, and what they do next week. Because I think if they play their starters, the Falcons clearly can beat the Bucs. I mean, they probably should have already. They should have beat them last time, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird enough. It's a division game. It's a weird season. Maybe they're really jockeying for that 5th seed. So I think there's certainly a chance that the Bucs are playing their starters in Week 17. But I also wouldn't necessarily think the Falcons are just going to win against the Bucs backups either, as sad as that is. Because this team has really redefined ways to lose.
We have one more lead to blow.
We do. There's yet one more lead remaining. Wow. Yeah. It's been a sad season. Real sad season. So the least that this team could do is give us a fun offseason with the 3rd overall pick. We could get some really lit mock drafts going. We could get some crazy trade scenarios. Talk about players falling to the Falcons. And getting this crazy quarterback situation. That would be fun. So please let us have that. It would be okay if they still end up with like the 7th overall pick if they win next week. But it would be nice if we get that 3rd pick. That's all I'm saying. So please, Falcons, please. All right, Adnan. We're almost at an hour here, so we're gonna wrap up here. But anything else you want to touch on today before we close things out?
No, not really. It's I will say I almost had to publicly apologize. I was getting a statement ready on Twitter because in my "What if we win or lose" article, I literally didn't even write the "What if we win" part.
Yep.
I just wrote out like, "Oh, I'm not going to worry about fairy tales this week." So so it's like, come after me if we do win, but we're not going to do it. So I was getting it ready on Twitter. I was queuing it up after we scored that touchdown to Laquan Treadwell. Shout out to Treadwell, by the way. But yeah, it's a good thing the Chiefs. I mean, part of me knew that the Chiefs were going to go downfield and score just because that's what they do, and that's what we do. We let up, but it almost came to fruition that I would have looked like a smartass on Twitter right now.
Yeah, I mean, literally, the second I tweeted out, oh wow, the Chiefs, they fell for that trap game. They scored literally 10 seconds later. It was like 3, because my stream is a little bit delayed because I'm watching on Sunday Ticket online, and it was it looked like the Falcons were going to stop them, and then they got that huge play, and it was well, shit. I wasn't trying to jinx them, and then it's just this team, this team, man, it's wild. All right, we got one final donation from George Costanza, another $5, brother. Again, we appreciate your support and your ability as benefactor of this show. We hope you had a happy Festivus, George Costanza. But he says, taking a quarterback is going to contribute to our success as much as Love helped Green Bay. If we take a quarterback, whatever. But I'll take 10 years of mediocrity to have one Super Bowl. We're used to mediocrity. Hashtag tank shots. Take the best wide receiver, or maybe even tight end Kyle Pitts. So what about that, sleeper candidate Kyle Pitts at tight end?
That would be a galaxy brain move at 3.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, the only way I could see, we're not taking Kyle Pitts. Not after trading a second for Hayden Hurst last year. If we didn't trade a second for Hayden Hurst, still jury's out. Still against that, by the way. Don't at me. Then I could possibly see us trading back and taking Kyle, because Pitts, nothing against him, he's a beast. He's an absolute monster at the tight end position. He looks like a different breed out there. He's gonna be a really good one for years to come. But it's just tight end is not a position of need for us right now. We need defense, and if we have a chance at that quarterback, just because you don't get that opportunity, then you take that chance. But yeah, it's I would not be for Pitts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's hard to justify that pick when you just like Adnan said, traded the second for Hayden Hurst. So that's a tough sell to fans and to a general manager, but Pitts is a really good tight end prospect, and I think you could make the case that he's more valuable than a Jamar Chase or something like that. So if the Falcons were really looking, I think this would. So first of all, let me preface this by saying this would be after a trade down, to the later part of the top 10, early teens. So if you do recoup a bunch of assets, you get maybe a future first, maybe get another second, so on. I think you can start entertaining taking just best player available, period. So maybe that's Jamar Chase, maybe that's Kyle Pitts. I don't know. I think it's reasonable if you get an offensive head coach that this guy's look, we traded out, we're not getting a quarterback. I think we can win with Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan's good enough. We just need to surround him with some elite weapons. That's the quarterback he is. So let's get him, the best tight end in the draft. Let's get Kyle Pitts in here. I think you can have that conversation. I don't think that's particularly likely, but I think it's worth having the conversation over, in the same way that maybe Jamar Chase in the early teens, if he's still there, is available, because it's pure best player available. But other than that, I don't think it's really likely. Like, it would require a pretty big trade down to make that worth it. And if you're getting future firsts and all this other stuff, then take whoever you want, man. Like, you're getting great value for that pick. Maybe the best defensive players are gone. Sure. Do what you got to do. Take the best player available. That's fine. Take a guard. I don't care. Like, whatever helps you win games. But outside of that, like at 3, if they're picking at 3 without a trade down, it's really going to be quarterback or trade down. I think those are the only reasonable options.
Maybe we release a gas mask video of Trevor Lawrence. And
there you go. 3. Hey, that's the secret.
It worked with console.
Yeah, I gotta keep brushing up on my video editing skills to get Trevor Lawrence's face photoshopped into that gas mask. But it's give me some time. I think I have I got 3 or 4 months till the draft, so I think I should be able to pull that off if we're smart, if we're clever. Maybe we can make that work. But outside of some crazy situation like that, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. All right, guys. Well, we do really appreciate everyone for tuning in. For hanging out with us for this last hour. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. We got one more game this year. It's going to be a lot of fun, maybe, hopefully. Win or lose, if we lose, we get to celebrate that 3rd overall pick. If we win, it's always nice to win, hashtag victory shots and that sort of thing. But otherwise, guys, we do appreciate everything. If you don't mind, like I said before, throwing a like at the video. I know there's like 200 people still tuned in, which is really awesome. Thank you guys. Throw a like at us. That helps other folks on YouTube find the show using their weird algorithm. I don't really understand how it works, but the likes do help people find it, so we appreciate that. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications when we put out new content, when we go live. We have a show on Wednesdays at 8:10 p.m. Eastern, and that's every week. So that's a lot of fun if you like to get into more of the nitty-gritty of stuff. Obviously, the post-game shows after the game, tons of fun. You guys make it great, so we really enjoy doing these. Help us vent a little bit, too, when the team sucks. Help us celebrate when the team's good, hopefully next year. So we appreciate that. And then I've been doing some actual video non-live content as well, and I'm going to continue doing that. You guys seem to really like that, so I'll be doing some film review stuff, some contract stuff, some draft stuff. We're going to be getting into some cool things this offseason with the video content and try to get the rest of the crew involved too, if I can figure out how to make it work. Otherwise, guys, the Patreon, check it out. If you want to support the show on a monthly basis, unlock some exclusive stuff there. The Discord server, a lot of fun on game days. We were going back and forth there all day. That was a lot of fun. Check that out. Links to both of those things are in the show description. And otherwise, you can follow the show on Falcoholic, at Falcoholic Live on Twitter. And you can follow my great co-host Adnan Ikic at Say Which Way on Twitter. Adnan, anything else you want to plug? Anything you want to let the people know about before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, I have to write articles now.
Oof.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'll write some articles coming up in a few days.
Yep.
Tonight, like tomorrow.
There will be articles. Hashtag articles. The content of which, you guys are just going to tune in to the great site, thefalcoholic.com. to get that great written content. It is great. And, shout out to Dave Choate and everybody else there, David Walker, Eric Robinson, everybody else who puts in the work hours there to make some great written content. So check that out if you want a little bit more stuff there. George Costanzo with the last-minute dono, $5, hashtag one for the road, tank shots. George Costanzo with the $5. Brother, thank you again. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pour it, but I'll do it before we sign off here. Guys, I am Kevin Knight at Falcoholic Kevin on Twitter. I will have video content coming out early this week, assuming they put out the All-22 at somewhat of an early time. This week they didn't put out All-22 until like Monday at like 8 o'clock at night, so I did not have time to put that in the video in time for a Monday release. But I'll have something tomorrow if they put the All-22 out at a reasonable hour. Otherwise, it'll be Tuesday. And we're going to have lots of written content. I'll be doing some mock drafts now that we're in the top 3. So look forward to that. And like I said, tremendous written content at the site as well. So check that out at thefalcoholic.com. One final sign-off shot here for George Costanza. Hold on. Pour this quick. But yeah, can't thank you guys enough for your support this year. Before I sign off, I guess is this the last show before the new year, or do we have one more? I think we have one more. Yeah, Wednesday's the 30th. So we have one more before the new year. But guys, your support this year has been phenomenal. The way the show has grown, we really appreciate you. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in. We appreciate George and everyone who donates to support. We got some exciting stuff coming. Like I said, more video content, the patron exclusive Q&As. We're going to start reinvesting some of this money you have generously given us to making the show better. I have a new microphone on the way for myself. I'm going to be sending, hopefully over the next few months, some microphones to the co-hosts as well to help improve their audio as well. Just a lot of fun stuff. It's going to be good, and we just really appreciate you guys for showing your support every single week and tuning in and enjoying this terrible Falcons season with us. And hopefully we'll have some better ones going forward. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on Wednesday for another great episode. Until then, guys, thank you very much. This is Kevin and Adnan signing off, and the last #TankShot. Here we go. Woo! All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all your donations. We will talk to you guys on Wednesday. Have a good one, folks. Good night.